Awkward silence. I just see you all looking.
I was waiting. You said, "Hang on, let me get Audacity going." So I just
Oh,
decided to
sorry.
be
I got it.
quiet.
I got it going. It's ready to go.
Okay. All right. Sweet. All right. I'm ready to go too. Are you ready, Justin?
I'm ready when you are.
All right. In 3, 2, 1, record.
Testing.
Testing.
Test.
Check 1, 2.
I'm looking good, as usual. Okay, I'm ready to go. If you guys are.
Ready?
Yep. Ninja Turtle water.
Yep. Ninja Turtle water. Hey, Justin.
What's up, man?
Not a whole lot. I thought that maybe. No, it's a bad idea.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it's a bad idea.
Starting to show off gray here. Thought
Yeah.
maybe. No, it's a bad idea. Forget it.
No, yeah, okay. Let's bring Nick Stephens on the show.
Woo! Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why not?
Crashing the two dudes. How about that?
Some guests might know him from another podcast. I forget. I don't know. What do you all talk about? Atari games or something?
Easy.
No, I'm just joking.
Yeah, that it's not the Atari, man. It's the ColecoVision, I think.
There you
Yeah.
go. That's closer.
Yeah.
No, it's the Genesis Gems.
There you go. GenesisGemsPodcast.com. That's my only plug. Go.
Okay, well then let me scratch off the 2 opportunities I was going to give you to plug later in the show.
Crap. I always
Yep,
ruin
no
it for
need
myself.
those now.
All right, don't get those. All right, no, seriously though, for the handful of listeners out there that don't know what your show is, even though we bash it on this show all the time, why don't you go ahead and tell them what it is?
Well, it's a lot like this show, only with a better system. No, I'm kidding. It's a Genesis game-by-game podcast, very similar to this show. We do some of the similar segments, retrofitted achievements. We ripped that off from you all. Thank you. We have quite a rotation of hosts. I think I'm the only one that's been in every episode. But check us out, GenesisGemsPodcast.com. We're getting ready to record a pretty bad game that Michael actually recommended, so thanks for that.
Yep,
I'm sure the two dudes community was behind you on that one.
Yeah. Hey, we actually talked about, you talk about the smattering of guests you have on your show. We were actually just talking a couple episodes about how Justin has never been invited on the show.
Oh, crap.
We were trying to
What
figure
do you want to
that
play? You can play anything you want. We'll have you on.
out. Whoa, I don't even think I've gotten that offer.
Yeah, well,
I'm going to pick Ren and Stimpy.
Ren and Stimpy.
Stimpy's
Nice.
invention.
Oh, that's perfect.
Okay, all right.
It was actually, hey, I know that's not the game we're going to talk about, hey, but on this show, but that was a pretty good game, actually, I thought.
But was it a gem? Stay tuned.
Stay tuned
I
for
know.
Justin's episode. All right, no, but tonight we're talking about the Bad News Bears movie.
Nope.
No,
Something
no.
like
Bad News Baseball.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
I'm
Justin,
really curious why it's bad news.
I think they're just trying to market after the Bad News Bears, right? That's my guess.
Yeah.
Little league play. But first, I've got a story to tell. Something happened to me today, and before I forget to tell it on another episode, I want to tell it on this one, if you don't care.
All right.
It's not a big deal, not a big thing, but it was something that's kind of funny that happened to me today. It was kind of awkward too. So I was invited to speak to a high school class about engineering stuff, soils testing and whatnot. So the person who invited me said, "Okay,
Bobby Amber.
No, it wasn't Bobby Amber. Although that'd be funny. I wish it was.
Yeah.
They actually said, okay, well, it's going to be you and another person and another person. There's going to be 3 people, right? And I said, okay, sweet. And they said it's going to be an hour block from 1 to 2. I said, okay, no problem. I can talk for 20 minutes about soils testing, no problem. So I get there today, and they introduced me to the other 2 people, and I was like, okay, so you guys are all going to talk about different aspects of engineering stuff to these kids. So you get this classroom, you get this classroom, and you get this classroom. And I was like, you mean I have to talk for an hour to these kids?
Nice.
So even though I had planned for 20 minutes, I had to stretch my 20-minute ideas off to an hour span. It was pretty interesting. kind of caught me off guard a little bit there.
Now, were these kids that were interested in engineering, or were these just everybody?
Yeah, no, fortunately it was like a STEM class. So it was
Okay, good.
it was kids who were interested in, I don't even know what STEM stands for. Was it science, technology, engineering, and math? Maybe?
Nailed it.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah. So it was a STEM.
I thought you were going to say, you started talking and someone was like, hey, that's that guy from Two Dudes in an S.
No, that would have been awesome. I'm still waiting on that story to happen. No, but funny thing is, Justin and I actually got invited to talk at one of the high schools around here because one of the high school classes is starting a podcast.
Nice.
At the high school, and we know one of the teachers there, and she said early next year we may go and talk to the classes about podcasting. So that'd be fun.
I think that was the same teacher that called me and I denied. I said, no, I'm too busy for that.
Too busy? Yeah. She would call you first.
Sure.
She's a big Genesis fan.
There you go.
We almost turned her down just for that, but
smart lady.
No, but that should be fun. So anyways, Justin has stepped away, so I will just ask you a question. He'll be back. But I'll ask you a question about Bad News Baseball. Why Bad News Baseball? Because I know this is a big fan game of yours. You could play it when you were a kid or something, right?
Yeah, so I'm a very big baseball fan in general. So I tried every baseball game possible when I was a kid. I had Bases Loaded, RBI Baseball. What else? I had Baseball Stars, and I remember renting this game because first of all, it was made by Tecmo. That was kind of the big appeal for me. Huge Tecmo Bowl fan, Tecmo basketball, all that crap was fun. And I thought, well, this is kind of cartoony and got some rabbit umpires, but I brought it home and played it, and I just felt like the gameplay was much smoother than the other baseball games. I'm sure we'll get into that later, but just real easy to pick up and play, real fast movement in it. It's easy to hit, easy to field. And I actually got so attached to the game, I could name you every player from Boston, which was my favorite team,
really?
What position they played in their batting order. Yeah, it's kind of sad.
We'll give you a quiz later.
Oh, sure, and I'll nail it. I have no problem.
All right.
But this is one of those games that I rented so much that the rental store actually gave it to me.
Oh, yeah?
I rented it.
Wow.
I rented enough to buy it. Yeah.
Okay, so there. Quest for the cart check. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, see, that's funny. I always thought it was strange that this game was made by Tecmo, but there's also a game, Tecmo Baseball. So that was kind of threw me off a little bit.
I hated Tecmo Baseball, believe it or not. I didn't like that behind the pitcher view at that time. Couldn't really see where the ball was coming from.
So you didn't really like Bases Loaded either then?
No. I mean, I had it, and that was one of the first games I ever had, so kind of had to play it. But no, I was more of a RBI Baseball, Baseball Stars. Of course, this game.
There is a glut of baseball games on the NES. I think I counted one time. There's like 20-something baseball games on the NES.
Makes sense. I mean, you got 3 RBIs and, the MLB baseball, and I think there's the LJN baseball, which was trash, and good grief, yeah, you're right. There's a ton of 3 bases loaded, and 2 baseball stars.
So is this one your favorite?
Yeah, absolutely.
Of all of them?
Yeah, I even own Dusty Diamond's All-Star Baseball, which is like one of the rare Nintendo games, and I don't really like that as well.
Yeah,
I think the only thing this game didn't have over the other ones was like a season mode. Baseball Stars was always the big game because I had a battery in the cart and you could save your season with all the stats and jazz.
Yeah, I think my favorite may be Baseball Stars, but I'd have to replay them all kind of together again. The only ones I've played recently are Baseball Stars, Bases Loaded, and now this game, which we'll get into that here in a minute. But this is the first time I've played this game, but. So that we're not leaving Justin completely out. So what's going on? Anything interesting happening in your way? You've been talking to any kids?
Any kids? I have my own 2 kids. A lot of Christmas buying, which is fun.
Nice.
My kids are now into professional wrestling, which is kind of cool. I'm kind of pumped about that. So I've been buying them wrestling figures, and then this is kind of the year. I hope they're not walking out so they don't hear me. The year of the Lego. So I bought them Lego Dimensions and a bunch of Lego sets.
That'd be cool.
We're going to try that out. Try to do the game, and then we got some real big Lego sets and a couple new bicycles. I don't know. It's kind of fun buying Christmas gifts for kids. Kind of brings back the memories. We handed them an ad from the paper and had them circle what they wanted, kind of like the old school JCPenney wish books.
Yeah, Sears. I would always grab the Sears book when it would come in, and I would just circle everything I wanted.
Yeah, I know. My Yeah, I try to get my kids into gaming, and I asked my oldest son what he wanted, and he just circles every game there is. Like, okay, great. I don't know what he wants.
You should, okay, son, you're gonna have to narrow it down a little bit.
Yeah.
Just a little bit here.
Of course, it's always like, I want an Xbox One since you don't have that one. Like, nah, let's just stick with the, $60 games, not a whole new system.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Xbox One's pretty fun. I like it. But yeah, Christmas. I don't get to shop for kids for Christmas really all that much because I don't even have any nieces, nephews, anything. So all the toys are actually just for myself, which is kind of
exactly. Well, I won't lie. Some of the characters I picked in Lego Dimensions, I was like, I think I'd like to use that guy.
yeah. I Disney Infinity went kaput or whatever, right?
Yeah, it did.
And I bought I don't even know why. I haven't even played it, but like once, and it wasn't even that fun. But there was a lot of almost all the Star Wars ones plus the game for like $25 or something on eBay or somewhere. And I said, well, I've got to do it. So I did it, and now they're just sitting there. And I wish I wouldn't have done it. But because there's not going to be any more updates for the game or anything. There's not going to be any more figures, but they look cool. I mean, they're cool sitting on the shelf. But
yeah, and I was very disappointed with that game. We bought it last year, and the characters were cool, but it just, other than the main storyline, that sandbox mode was kind of boring. The kids like playing it because you can fly around and get in vehicles, but it was just kind of, I don't know, it kind of seemed pointless.
It's just kind of a button masher too,
Yeah, we kind of like Skylanders a little better, which, thanks to you're the one that got us into Skylanders for trading me that starter pack from the Wii U.
Yeah, no problem. I knew I was going to get into Skylanders, so that's not a big deal.
Yeah.
It does look like fun if you were a kid. I just couldn't get into something that had brand new characters, you know what I mean? But then they released those Nintendo characters on it and kind of got me.
I know, but every iteration you had to go buy a new base and a new game with this cool thing about Lego Dimensions. It's just one game, and then you buy like the packs with the added levels. That's so far. I hope they stick that way, because if you buy like a new like the old Skylanders game and then have a new Skylander figure, it won't work. And apparently Lego Dimensions is supposed to all work at the same time no matter what you have, so I hope so.
I see.
That's my goal.
See, what I think's cool about Lego Dimensions, and I don't know if I'll ever get into it because that's just too much money to start investing in or whatever. But what I think's cool about it is they have licenses for everything.
Yeah, I know.
That's what's cool, because you got Ghostbusters and you got, they just have everything. I wouldn't be surprised if Nintendo showed up either.
Exactly, and hopefully with Disney Infinity going out, they'll pick up Star Wars. They're already making Star Wars Legos games.
Yeah, I don't see why they wouldn't. I mean,
yeah, that'd be cool.
They've got Marvel stuff, right?
Yeah, they have Marvel.
Marvel's partially owned by Disney.
Exactly, and it would be kind of cool because right now Marvel's not in Lego Dimensions, but DC is. So if they ever get Marvel, it'd be kind of cool to do a mix-up of DC and Marvel in the same game.
Marvel and DC in the same game.
Yeah, it'd be so cool.
That would be cool. I don't know if they got Marvel and they got Star Wars, I would probably have to jump into Lego Dimensions. As much as I don't want to,
I know. Well, I bought the starter pack on Cyber Monday for $30, so that wasn't bad. It comes with a game and 3 characters, and then I bought about 3 more characters, all for about $8 a piece. So it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah. Do they come with? Are they just characters? Or do they come with like? Because I know that you can do Lego things where you piece them together and build Lego something. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So the Lego, you actually do build them. You don't have to build them. It actually works from this little disc. So you don't actually even need the Lego guy to make it play. But it's kind of like an added bonus. So the little Legos actually.
Okay, Justin just came crashing back in. He couldn't come back in all nonchalant and quiet.
Came in like a wrecking ball.
Yeah. Came in like a wrecking ball. That was for the 2-star, right?
For the 2-star. I'm confused. What is that?
We have a running joke. Somebody left us a 2-star review complaining about Justin's audio and all the kids and stuff in the background.
That was me. No.
Well, it doesn't matter because now every time something happens, we just say that's for the 2-star.
You gotta take it on the chin.
Yeah. Anyways, go ahead and finish what you were saying about Disney and not Disney, Lego Dimensions.
Lego Dimensions.
We'll let Justin jump in on history.
The characters work from the base, not the actual Lego. But the cool thing is, like I said, I bought these big Lego sets for my kids, so they can actually take the figures and build those and play them, with the Lego sets, and then that little disc at the bottom is what makes the characters go in the game. So you don't even really have to build them the correct way to do it, which I think is pretty cool.
That's cool. But it doesn't show you how to build them on the screen or something like that?
Yeah.
That's neat.
So my oldest, he's 7 now, so I bought him his first Lego set a few weeks ago, and he put it all together himself. It's pretty cool. It was a smaller one. It wasn't like one of those $200 sets, but yeah, I was kind of shocked he did that well. So kind of excited to see how this all goes.
That'd be cool. All right. Back to Bad News Baseball. Justin, you got some history?
I do have some history. So, obviously, this game was brought to us by Tecmo, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, Tecmo is famous for bringing a lot of games to the NES. Not a whole lot of history in the development of this game, so I thought I'd bring back a little quiz game for us.
Oh, no.
Ooh.
All right. Surprise, surprise.
And this quiz game is going to be mostly, well, somewhat about Bad News Baseball.
Nick, do you remember how to play the quiz game? Did you ever play the quiz game on our show?
I've never played it, but I just say my name or something. Is that what I do?
Yeah, if you know the answer.
If you know the answer, say your
bring
name.
in as your name.
And since your name is one syllable, and I usually go by Michael, but that's too many syllables compared to yours. I'm going to go with Mike. Yeah,
All right,
2
I guess
syllables makes it too long, so, you gotta jump in there with the 1 syllable.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Can't lie, I'm a little nervous.
All right. So this game was released in December, and we're about to embark on the 27th anniversary of its release in North America. And it was released on what date? Was it December? A, December 14th, B, the 15th, C, the 16th, or D, the 17th?
Mike.
Nick.
Mike, what you got?
I'm going to say the 16th.
You are incorrect.
I'm going to go with the 18th.
The 18th was not a choice.
No kidding, right?
Sweet, thanks for that.
So the 19th?
All right, I'm going to read the choices again.
Well, in Nick's defense, you did stutter a little bit. I don't know if it's your internet
did.
connection or what. But
Yeah, okay. 14th, 15th, 16th, or 17th?
How about the 20th? No, I'm kidding.
Well, he doesn't get another shot. You just have to give us the answer. He's unscrewed up. All right. No, go ahead. What do you think?
I don't know. Was it 1989 was the year? That's all I remember.
1989 was the year.
Yeah, I don't remember the day.
We got a 1 in 3 shot.
Yeah.
Just don't pick the
Well,
16th or the 19th or 20th.
17th.
No, it's the 15th.
No.
So nobody wins that round.
Failed.
All right. Question number 2. Tom Arnold was in a baseball movie called The Final Season about a baseball team from this state that fed players into the New York Yankees. What state was it? Was it A, Minnesota, B, Indiana, C, Missouri, or D, Iowa?
Mike.
Mike, what you got?
I know this is probably just a red herring, but I'm going to go with Iowa because that's where Tom Arnold's from.
It was Iowa. It was not a red herring.
All right.
So, Mike's got the lead here, 1-0. All right. Who starred in the original Bad News Bears
Nick.
movie?
Mike.
Nick.
Walter Matthau.
Walter Matthau.
No, you wanted to know which one of the kids, though, right? You wanted to know one of the kids.
No,
Okay.
it was the starring role. All right.
The guy from The Watchmen. He was Jesse. Sorry. Anyways.
All right, it's 1-1 going into the 4th question. What is the highest selling baseball game for the NES? Is it A, Bases Loaded, B, just baseball, C, Bad News Baseball, or D, RBI Baseball? Nick?
I'm going to go with RBI baseball.
Nope, not RBI Baseball.
Mike.
Mike?
I'm going to go with baseball.
It was baseball. The black box game baseball.
All right, you held me in suspense there. Is there an internet delay, or are you just trying to give me a heart attack?
You were cutting out a little bit, so I think there was an internet delay. So, but yeah, it was baseball, the black box game by Nintendo's Research and Development 1. Baseball was the highest selling. All right. Which game was released first in Japan? Was it Tecmo Bowl or Bad News Baseball?
Nick.
Nick?
Bad News Baseball?
Nope.
Oh, crap.
It was Tecmo Bowl.
So I don't get to answer?
No, you don't get to answer, but you win anyway because you're ahead 2-1.
All right, that's fair. That's fair. So, Two Dudes is better than Genesis Gems when it comes to talking about NES quiz games.
I'll give you that.
I think that's official. Yeah,
that's official. That's cool. We can concede that.
Now, if this was an Ask Aaron, then I'm pretty sure I could concede that.
Yeah, we would just say you guys are the worst. I haven't said that yet. You guys are the worst. But thanks for letting me on your show.
Yeah, no problem. Since Justin left again, by the way, everybody. I think he's having maybe trouble getting his kids to bed or something. But that's just a guess. That's actually may not be true. I'm just a
two-star guess.
That's just a 2-star guess. But since he's gone, one of the other reasons that we brought you on the show, Nick, is because you and I have a little something to reveal, maybe.
Yeah.
I think we're finally, after a year off, going to bring back Metroidvania Mayhem.
Has it been that long?
I feel like it has.
Man.
I feel like it's been about a year. I think it's been a full year almost.
Man. Yeah, I know. I've had this PlayStation Vita, and it's like killing me because all these good Metroidvania games keep coming. I keep downloading them. Like, I want to talk about that one. I want to talk about that one.
Yeah, I've got a bunch too. In fact, I've got on my Vita, I have one of the really small memory cards, right?
Yeah.
And I downloaded and put, I almost said Symphony of Destruction. What's the name of that song?
Megadeth?
Yeah, it's Megadeth. I put that song in there. I listed it all the time. Now, what were we talking about? Metroidvanias? No, I put Castlevania Symphony
of the
Night. Thank you. I put that on there because that was going to be our next game. And I played it for a little while, and then we kind of never really got around to recording. And so I've left it on there, but every time I see it, I'm like, I need to delete that because otherwise I'm not going to be able to download any more games because I have a really small memory card in there.
Yeah.
But it's still on there, waiting for me to finish it up so that we can talk about it.
Absolutely.
Which we will do.
Play it upside down too.
I don't think I can get that far. I think I might just play it the easiest way possible.
Yeah, that works too. It's still fun that way.
Yeah, I've actually never played it and beat it. I've played it many a time, but I've never actually beat it.
And I won't go too much into detail. We can save this for that show, but I was pleasantly surprised with the Zeo Drifter. That was a game I downloaded. I won't say any more than that.
Okay.
That was an interesting game. Better than I thought it'd be.
And we're back.
Justin, back?
Go ahead. What?
Okay. Well, I was going to say someone let me know about this cool website. You're talking about your digital games. It's called Limited Run Games. So they actually make a very small amount of hard copies of some of these these indie games. So you can buy like Saturday Morning RPG when it's there. They had Zeo Drifter. They had what else they had? Like Thomas Was Alone, things like that.
Oh,
for
cool.
a very, very small time, it's like $30 for the physical copy. So, but you gotta you literally have to sit there and wait for it to release. They'll send you an email like tonight at midnight we're gonna release this. And I've yet to actually get a game, but
so they sell out pretty quick.
Yeah. And then they had like a Black Friday sale where they sold like a little bit of their stock they had left. I missed out on that too, but it's kind of cool to keep up with.
Yeah, I'm kind of I've been here lately in the last year or so. I've kind of thrown my hat in the digital only ring. So they may just rip those licenses away from me one day and I'll never play the games again, but we'll see what happens. All right, Justin.
Life on the edge.
That's me. You know how I do. All right, so we officially announced me as the winner, and we said that Two Dudes in an S is better than Genesis Gems because of it. So, moving on from that.
I do have one more question.
Okay.
for the quiz game. It was going to be like a tie break if there was a tie, but I want to ask it anyway because it's really interesting.
Okay.
All right. Tecmo was founded in 1967. What was the original job of the company? Was it A, a real estate company, B, a yacht selling company, C, they sold amusement park equipment, or D, an electronics company?
Well, an electronics company would make the most sense. But I'm going to go with yacht.
I was going to say the same thing. It just sounds a little bit more interesting.
It's yacht.
Nice.
They were founded on July 31st, 1967 as a real estate company of yachts.
Oh, wow.
Sweet.
But they actually did sell amusement park equipment a couple years later. Yeah.
They're just trying to find their niece, you know?
Their niece, right. Okay. Have you told the story of how you had this game?
No.
This game?
We touched on how Nick got this game briefly at the beginning of the show, but we can get into it now more thoroughly. I never had this game. Still don't. I actually didn't take the time to pick it up.
Oh, man.
I played demo mode, and I'm not afraid to admit it. I'm sorry, everybody. I failed this time. I actually didn't even pick up the game. I just played demo mode this time. I know I'm a terrible person, but that's what I did.
Is
I
it
love
easy
this.
to find?
It's pretty cheap. I gave this game away on the NES podcast many years ago, and I also sent a copy to Rob Luther one time just for fun. And then I have my own copy, so I've bought this game about 3 or 4 times in the past 5 years.
Well, it's not the funds. It was just the time. I just didn't. We kind of, I don't know. How long have we been playing this show? Like a week, maybe. And I didn't have time. I didn't have time to actually go to the store, one or two game stores we have local, and I knew I wouldn't have time to have it shipped, so I just said, I'm not even going to try.
Well, I'll tell you this. The game is pretty cheap. We'll get to that in a later segment. But you could buy the manual for $6.
Well, I did buy the
manual.
I did buy the manual, so.
Somebody has the manual for sale. So.
Nice. But Nick actually has a little bit of a more interesting story about how he got the game, so I'll let him go into that.
All right.
Yeah, it was one of those things where I rented this game so much from my local store that they pretty much gave it to me. And they kind of asked me for $5 extra whenever they sold it to me, but I probably rented it enough to buy it twice because we had this local store. On Fridays, you could rent 3 games for $5, and I would always pick this game up with whatever else. So I did it so much, the guy actually was like, "You want to buy this game?" And it was like he said another $5, and it's yours. I go, sweet. Apparently, I was the only one renting it, which really shocked me when I hear about this being an obscure baseball game. I just never pictured that growing up because it was always there at the rental store, and it was always in my NES on the weekends. So.
Yeah, it's cool that the local rental places like that growing up, because they did the same thing for us. I know that happened to me at least once, where I rented a game so many times that they actually just said, "You want to buy this game?" Which I guess is probably just a good business opportunity for them if it's a game that nobody else was renting.
Exactly.
But
well, they it's probably easy to see. They pull up when they scan it or whatever, put the number in for it, and they're like, "Well, you're the only person that's ever rented this game, so I could probably make a few extra bucks if I just sell it to this kid."
Yeah, and then my point earlier where it was apparently a little obscure, that's probably why my parents never bought it for me because they couldn't find it to buy.
Yeah, so you actually picked up a little bit of an obscure title. Not worth any money, but,
Nah.
Consolation, not worth any money. ESPN actually ran an article on stadium events last week, I think it was.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
That's
Rob
not the game we're talking
McCollum.
about this show.
Well, I'm just saying. Because, it's worth, like, buku's money.
Uh-huh.
And Rob McCollum, he shared it. And I read a little bit of it. I didn't get to finish it because it was a really long article. It was talking about this couple, like, sold their copy for, like, a down payment on a house.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah.
I'd say that's worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, well, here's another thing. This is completely unrelated. I've noticed I go to click on articles these days that I like reading articles every now and then. I got a Feedly account where I get, I can pick articles out. But lately I've been opening these articles and the what?
Feedly account as like some kind of porn thing.
Feedly, never mind. It's
I was thinking Feely.
Oh yeah, no, that's completely different. I got one of those too. No, but here lately I've been clicking on these articles and they're like 20,000 words. I don't have time to read stuff like that. Are people just writing more nowadays or something?
I don't need information.
I need snippets.
It's the hipster way. We streamlined all that. Our generation now. All the millennials are coming up and being hipsters about it. No, I'm teasing.
Well, I mean, technically we're millennials too.
I guess we are. You're right.
Hey, if we can elect a president who only speaks in 160 characters or less, that's all I want to read.
That's what I'm saying.
So I'm just saying.
Then all these bearded lumberjack people want to be lumberjacks are bringing back the 20,000 word essays. I just don't have time for that.
Yeah. Mm.
Yeah.
And these hipsters that wear these lumberjack outfits, are like the opposite of a lumberjack, which is really annoying.
Now,
have you seen them? Well, okay, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Have you seen the ones they've been wearing lineman boots? The boots that are like that linemen wear that climb poles.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That like they go all the way up the leg. Like the laces, and they've got like a little tall heel on it because the linemen put their like I don't know what you call
climb the pole. Yeah.
On them. But I've like seen people wearing those like out and about.
I have
like
not
people
seen
that I clearly know are not linemen.
Are you sure? Did you ask them?
No, I didn't ask them. But when the boot looks brand new out of the box, I can say that's probably not a lineman.
Well, I can tell you one thing. I know some linemen, and they don't wear those boots just hanging out at the house.
That's what I'm saying. If you're at Starbucks wearing those boots, you're probably not a lineman.
Okay, let me also say that I know some linemen, and if they're at Starbucks, they're probably not a lineman.
I know some linemen. If they're at Starbucks, they're there to use the bathroom.
Yeah.
You usually find a lineman at the pub, right?
Yeah, that's right. Anyways, I was just gonna say, last weekend I did trim one of my parents' trees because it was getting all nastified and it needed trimming. So I went out there with a chainsaw, and it was a little cold, so I did wear flannel. I'm not gonna lie, and I did feel a little bit like a lumberjack.
I thought you were gonna say you felt like Rob Luther in his flannel.
Actually, I did feel like. Well, he is a lumberjack, right?
You used to install cable. That's close.
He did climb poles and install cable. So I think he said he fell out of one time. Actually,
a pole.
That was just an excuse to miss a podcast.
Is that what it was?
I don't know. Probably.
Hey man, I fell off a pole today.
I fell off a pole. I had to go to the hospital. They may say I broke a few vertebrae, so I'm going to have to miss the podcast. And Nick was like, Rob, no. Always excuses.
Excuses.
Can't you be more like Michael Jordan and just come to the show anyways?
Flu game. Yeah.
Anyways, bad news baseball.
Yeah.
So, okay, we've talked about how we got the game. We talked about how I didn't actually get the game, and I've disappointed all of our listeners for this episode. But let's get into the game discussion. Let's talk about a little bit of the memories from the childhood. I have 0. Justin, do you have any?
As far as sports games went for me as a kid, it really was just football and basketball. I never really played a baseball game. And even like in the later days, I think the first baseball game that I ever actually played was the game that Mike, you remember. I don't remember what the game's name was, but it was on like PlayStation 2. Because remember we went to go over to Brooks' house and we like drafted teams and all that.
I think it was the show, maybe.
Yeah, it was like some big,
an early version of the show. Yeah,
new baseball game. That was the first baseball game that I ever played, and I think partly the reason is I never played baseball. So, I'm not a real American male.
Yeah, I don't think so. Actually, you may want to go to Starbucks.
Yeah, well, but and I never really was into baseball as much. I mean, I liked the Braves growing up because
That's right.
they
Tom
were
Hawk.
they were really good at the back then. And of
That's
course
why we
that
have
was-
Nick on the show. By the way, that's the only reason we ever even allow him on. Period, is because he's also a Braves fan. So
Yeah,
Love
Yeah.
the Braves.
and I loved the Braves growing up. I like to play backyard baseball, but I never really got into baseball. Like I was really big into football and basketball, but not so much into baseball. So I never really played baseball games. So this game I never played
never
it
even popped up on your radar.
because I was not into baseball games at all. So
I actually
Yeah.
played a ton of baseball NES games. Mainly, I played Bases Loaded because that was the one I owned. Actually, I think I owned Bases Loaded too. And then later, when I was a little bit older, I picked up Baseball Stars, and I played a ton of that when I was a kid. So I played those two a lot. Of course, I did play Little League Baseball, so I had the baseball gene, I guess you could say, in me. But I didn't even know this game existed until Nick started talking about it one day on, I guess it was probably on the NES podcast back in the day.
well, and the you had Base Wars.
Base Wars, yeah.
Well, Base Wars. Can you even call that baseball? I mean, that's better than baseball. That's combat. It's base combat.
Yeah. Do you think that it's interesting because if you think about like sports games for the NES, you've got Tecmo Bowl, Super Tecmo Bowl. Those two.
Lee Trevino's fighting golf. That's a gem.
I've never played baseball, the black box baseball. Nick, maybe you have, and you can enlighten us on this. And I'm sure you're going to pick Bad News Baseball as over it, but at the same time, was that even a decent game? It was, like we talked about in the quiz game. It sold more copies, but was it even a good game, or did people just see, oh, it's a baseball game and buy that game?
And I think it being a black box game kind of speaks for itself. It was really the only offering at the time. It was okay, a little slow. And like I mentioned earlier, but Bad News Baseball, very fast paced, easy to pick up and play, 9 innings. But after playing RBI baseball and Bad News and Baseball Stars, I had never had any reason to go back and play the black box baseball. But yeah, and there wasn't it being an MLB game, it had the teams, but it didn't have the players' names, which kind of sucked. It just had the numbers. It didn't have the whatever it is, the MLB PA license, so the actual players weren't in it. But yeah, it was okay.
I like the names though. Rocky, John.
Well, like I
That
said
sounds like
earlier,
little kids.
yeah, one of my memories is that Boston is my favorite team on this game, and I can literally name every player and every position in the batting order.
Oh yeah,
It's
I
really
meant to.
sad.
Oh, hang on, we got to pull. I'm gonna pull them up here. And
Oh, no.
And we're gonna quiz you.
Oh crap!
So because you made this claim twice now.
Yeah, I probably shouldn't have, right?
Yep, it's too late. It's too late. Okay.
I can't name the bench players though. Okay, I can't
Oh,
name the
well,
bench players or the
come
pitchers,
on.
but starting lineup, I got it.
Okay. It's only starting lineup and all the pitchers? No pitchers.
The one pitcher, the first starting pitcher.
The number one pitcher. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, Chris was the third baseman, leadoff. Jason was second base. Duncan was first base, and he was the third batter. Fourth batter's Freddie. He was left field. Crap, I'm going to get that wrong. Art was the fifth batter, and he was right field. Dick was the sixth batter, right field. Ben was the next batter, shortstop. Hector was the next batter, catcher. And I believe Frank was the left-handed starting pitcher. And it's really sad because I remember some of the stats too. Freddie he was the cleanup hitter with 40 home runs. I would always move Jason. He was the second batter. I moved him to leadoff position because he ran the fastest, and I would bunt with him, get all the way to third base, and then I'd move Chris to second in the second spot and hit him around. So I had these weird strategies I'd play in the game, but I probably messed up Art and Dick. I don't know which one was left field.
No, I think you got them right. I think you got
Okay.
them right.
Sweet.
So
I couldn't tell you anybody else in the other team, but I always picked Boston because they had the most home runs. Their third through sixth hitter had like over 25 home runs, every one of them. So they had a little bit more power. A lot of home runs on that team.
well, like when I played this game. It's really one of the things I do like about the game is how easy it is to pick up and play, and you can play like a bunch of games in just a short amount of time.
Yeah.
But I played as Boston and I played as Toronto, and as Boston I did okay because I hit a lot of home runs, like you said. But as Toronto, I just got my tail whooped by the computer. I just didn't even stand a chance. So then the third time I played as Boston again. So I didn't play as every team, but
Yeah.
Boston was definitely
as
my
Atlanta?
go-to. I didn't play what?
You didn't play as Atlanta.
No, I didn't.
Traitor. So
I didn't realize Atlanta was in the game. Sorry, their
Atlanta.
symbols for the they didn't really match.
It's like a
No.
purple cursive A. Yeah.
Yeah, so I didn't really recognize that was Atlanta. My bad.
I do remember there's a guy on their team named Marty, and he was on the All-Star team. I do remember that. I think he had like 32 home runs or something. That's
I
really
will
sad.
say I also did not try. I did not try All-Star mode either, because I read before I played it that All-Star mode was harder than the regular mode, so I just played regular.
What about spectator mode? Now that's a mode.
That is a mode. Yes.
I mean, come on. Let's just.
It's like the coaching
I like-
simulator.
It's just
I thought
like,
about putting spectator mode on the TV behind me, but
it's just like you know what? I'm kind of into this game, but I don't really feel like playing it. So I'm just gonna watch it play. You know, so.
that's fine. I will say back, I guess it was when PS2 first came out. I was obsessed with the way the graphics in these games looked, right? Especially Madden. For some reason, Madden on PS2 just blew my mind. I have no idea why, but it did. So what I did was instead of watching football on TV, like real football, I would just put the two teams on, both make them computers, and not play them myself, and just let the game play because I was like, wow, look at those graphics. So
Yeah.
that's pretty dumb. I could have just played anything else or just played Madden itself, but no, I was
just played.
I was just so obsessed with the graphics that I wanted to put it on the screen, just watch it.
Was it what Madden 08 was the one we always played in college? No, 08. Gosh, 04. Was that Michael Vick? Whatever one had Michael Vick on the cover. That was like the college game.
Yeah, I played
right. I
I
graduated.
played that one. I played that one, and then whenever NCAA came out, I switched to it. I started
Yeah.
playing it.
No, that
'Cause
was
I liked
some. I
it
mean,
better.
hey,
You
getting
know
off
how many
topic.
national
But
championships I won in the NCAA?
No,
Tennessee,
did you guys-
Tennessee
did you guys
was
get-
like 5-time national champions.
That's not accurate at all.
did you guys like get all your friends together and create your own little leagues and stuff? That was a blast. We would all, pick a team, and then we'd draw, a ranking and had these little tournaments and jazz. We put like $5 in a pool. So
Well,
you'd win it all.
The thing about football games in our group of friends was if you wanted to know what Michael thought of you, you just need to go over to Michael's house, see the team that he created, because he created all of his friends.
Oh yeah,
Oh, that's awesome.
And if he thought you were athletic, then you'd be athletic, and if you thought you were like a bruiser, you'd be a bruiser. Like
that's right.
Brandon, remember Brandon was always like fullback.
I always made him fullback. That's right.
Yeah.
Because he'd run over people.
But yeah, so
Yeah, that's true. I did do that. We did do the league thing the very last year that they made NCAA. We didn't do it much in college or anything, but the very last year they made the NCAA and they had the online franchise. There were a few of us that got together and did that. That was pretty fun.
yeah.
But although Slapper Bags, okay, I'm sure he doesn't listen to the show, so I'll go ahead and throw him under the bus. He and Crabman and I were in this little league of franchise mode on NCAA, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think I was playing John, and then his internet crapped out, and he was forced to leave the game a couple times because I was beating him. I was beating him, and his internet crapped out, quote unquote. You know what I mean? And so I called him out on. I called him out on it. I was like, John, dude, seriously, your internet's really that bad? And he said, yeah, it's totally my internet. I said, okay, that's fine. I gave him a pass. I was like, that's fine. We'll reschedule. Well, the very next week, he was slated to play Josh Crabman, and the exact same thing happened. And Josh and I were both like, nope, that's not true. There's no way that happened twice. That you were getting beat, and then because then prior to that he had beaten us, and there were no internet problems whatsoever. But
Of course.
anyways, I digress. I've got something.
Is it the manual?
It's the manual. Yes, sir.
Yes. Were you the one that bought it on eBay for $6?
No, but I have it on PDF.
Sweet. That's a fancy little tablet.
Yeah, you like that? Look at this case I've got for it. Got a case for Christmas.
Last Christmas?
No, this Christmas. Got the case.
I thought that was a Trapper Keeper.
It's December 6th.
Oh, gosh. I mean, for us, we're just two married adults with no kids. Okay, Christmas happens anytime between Thanksgiving and Christmas Day.
Okay,
right?
all right.
So, anyways,
It kills the suspense.
well, I mean, there'll be surprise things too. I mean, this case was like $5. It's not like a big to do. You know what I mean? It's not like we wheeled a car in, a day ahead of Christmas. It's, there'll be things. All right.
There'll be things. All right.
There will be things. Things and stuff too, probably. Some stuff and things. All right, there is no real story to this game. This manual is very straight-laced. Just like this game, this manual is just telling you how to use it. This is how you play the game. But it does give you some tips on like selecting your team and looking at the stats and the pitcher data and how to pick players and stuff. So that's pretty interesting. But really, there's nothing to talk about in the manual, to be perfectly honest with you. It's really kind of sad. It's just how you play the game. It would be important to read before you play the game, though. I will say that.
There is one thing I must ask about the manual. Does it address the spectator mode?
It addresses it, but not really.
Okay, so does it say like, just want to kick back and watch a good game of baseball or something?
It doesn't do anything like that. It does tell you how to get into girls mode, which that's something we need to talk about because on the cover of the cover of the game, there's a boys mode and a girls mode, right? Mm-hmm. So there is a girls mode where all the players become girls. Okay.
But you gotta
It's super complicated, but the manual tells you how to do it. But it's super complicated to get it.
Yeah.
But for anybody who's curious, the manual says that you must press the reset button while holding controller 1 to the lower left and controller 2 upward. If a heart mark appears on the title screen, then you know that you are in girls mode. Go ahead and enjoy the game. So you have to have two controllers, and you have to hold them in weird positions and hit the reset button.
And they always said that glass ceiling was hard to break.
It's hard to break.
But does it change anything?
It changes the players to girls, but
I mean, does the graphics change?
Just like your player sprites. Now the cutscenes themselves are still the boys, which is weird.
Okay.
Yeah, I was about to say that the sprites of the characters in the game are girls, but yeah, like Nick said, what they call zoom up display mode, where it shows you the cutscenes, they switch back to boys. It says, unfortunately, in this mode, the zoom up display shows only boy players. Sorry for letting you down.
Oh, it actually says that in the manual? I didn't know that.
Yeah, it says, sorry for letting you down.
That is hilarious. It's like we didn't have enough time to, because the anticipation for this game was so important. Yeah. But you do get an indication when you did that right. The little baseball icon at the front of the title screen turns into a little heart. So then you're in girls mode. And then the names are, of course, different. They're lady names.
Yeah, so this game is pretty sexist. Let's be honest.
True.
Now, how does that make it sexist?
Okay, well, who says that the girl has to be heart and a boy has to be a baseball?
Well, at least they included girls.
Yeah, I guess.
I'm just saying.
I mean, they're very inclusive, but they're stipulations. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true.
I think
we're including you, but we're going to make it very hard to include you.
That's probably why Baseball Stars is a little bit more popular, because the girls there's a whole team of girls you can play against the guys, no problem. Just go for it.
Yeah, and you can't play. Yeah, once you go into girls mode, it's all girls.
Yep.
You can't switch back and forth. You can't have girls playing boys. I mean, that's just crazy having girls play boys. So
yeah.
But All right, so that's it for the manual. That's all I got on it. So just a few notes that I wrote down while playing this game. So far everybody's seemed to be pretty positive on the game, mainly because Nick's the only one who's been talking about it. But honestly, I really did not get into this game all that much. I really didn't like it all that much. I think it's really simple and easy to play, which to me is also a little bit of a detriment compared to some of the other baseball games on the NES. It's better than baseball. Just straight up baseball. The black box game, I'll give it that. But for me, I like the fact that you can jump in and play quickly, but to me, that kind of gets old a little bit fast, if that makes sense. I don't know.
I'm going to go the other way with it, though.
Okay.
In the saying that I like this game because I like the simplicity of it. When I think about sports games, I actually like the simplicity of it, that you can just sit down and play it. That's the way I've always kind of liked sports games. Is not really. I've never been really one of the types, other than the aforementioned NCAA football, to play the franchise modes and the more complex the games are. Generally, I just don't get into it as much. I think that's why I like games like NBA Jam or NFL Blitz, where it was just more simple. And it was just sit down, fun game,
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm not saying that it makes this game bad. I'm just saying that it makes this game not necessarily for me, because I prefer more of like the baseball stars approach, right, where you get stats that carry over on players and stuff like that. I like kind of more of that approach to the baseball game. But at the same time, something that also I think would make this game better for me is if I was playing it against a second player rather than the computer, because the computer really just kicked my tail pretty much every time.
No mercy.
And with the exception of the few times I played as Boston, was able to hit some home runs, I was just getting my butt whooped. And part of that also is, for me, the fielding in this game, I could not figure it out. Like, the players are really slow, the field's really big, and I guess you kind of have to, once you get used to it, I'm sure you kind of get a feel for how to make your players move. And this is kind of not necessarily this game's problem. All NES baseball games kind of have this problem where the ball, say there's a pop fly and you go to move your player, it kind of moves the whole team, you know what I mean? And you don't really know which player's close to the ball and that sort of thing. So it's not necessarily just this game's fault, but just that combined with the computer always hitting the ball, like no matter what I did, he would always hit the ball and hit home runs and stuff. It was just kind of, it was just really
stop winning.
And that's probably why it's so different for me, where I played it so much. Like when you mentioned all the guys moving at one time on defense, like I use that as a cutoff strategy. Like if I throw it home and the guy's running from first to second, I'll move my pitcher over, cut it off from home and then throw it to second base, tag the guy out. And I had it down to where no matter where the guy hit it, I knew exactly where to move, and I could dive and catch the balls and jump. And again, that's just from playing it as much as I did as a kid. But I actually like it. I
think if you have experience playing it, you'd be pretty good at it.
Yeah, and I actually like the defense. There's no infield fly rule, so if there's two guys on base, no outs, I'm gonna let that pop up in the infield drop and get a double or triple play if I can. And it seems like you almost always throw the potential tag up. So if someone hits a fly ball and there's someone on first base, that guy's not running to second, you can let that ball drop and then throw the guy out to second. Even if you don't mean to let it drop, you're gonna throw the guy out to second. So there's a few little tricks in there I think make it easy to win. But like you said, though, even with all I've played, the reason I like this game so much is it still feels competitive. Like I just got done playing a game a few hours ago. I won, but I won like 12-8, so it wasn't like I blew them out. I'm going to score a lot of runs in this game, but they still hit a lot of home runs off me too if I don't go change the way I'm pitching. And sometimes I get in this little mode where I want the game to be over fast, and I just start throwing straight fastballs right down the middle instead of trying to mix it up with curveballs and change ups and crap. If you really think about it, you can strike guys out, but I just tend to go, let's get the game going.
Yeah,
throw straight fastballs.
That's one of the reasons why we get high scores, because that happened to me too. Because what is cool is you can throw different types of pitches. You can technically throw curveball, screwball, changeup, fastball, depending on which direction you push the D-pad. But I eventually get tired of trying to strike the guy out and just throw it down the middle, which is probably one of the reasons why I get beat so easily by the computer too.
That's about every baseball game on the Nintendo. I mean, RBI baseball controlled the same way. I would end up getting in the same rhythm after the first 3 or 4 innings. I just start throwing it right down the middle. They start cranking it. So,
well, here's something else. This is the first time we've talked about a baseball game on this podcast, and Justin and I we didn't play a whole lot of baseball games together, especially not on the NES or anything, but whenever I would play with, say, neighbor kid or something, we would always have we would make up our own rules for how you could pitch. You know what I mean? I don't know if you did this, Nick.
Yeah, yeah.
Because you could, if it's 2-player, you can basically pitch and just ruin each other's day, and nobody gets anything done. So we would say things like, you can only pitch this certain way, this certain number of times, and stuff like that, to kind of rein it in a little bit.
That's funny. I actually wrote that note down that my brother and I did the same thing. It was only fastballs, only down the middle, and you can't move your pitcher left or right. And if you did that, then we usually just kind of, I don't know, he'd probably just punch me in the shoulder or something because he's a lot older than I am.
Sack tap.
Yeah.
Sack tap.
We call it bag tag. I don't
know. Different regions of the country, sack tap, bag tag.
You call it soda, I call it pop. Bag tag.
Well, yeah. I think we would always say that you couldn't intentionally walk somebody. So you would know if there was 3 balls and 2 strikes, then it was going to be a strike or whatever.
Yeah,
that sort of thing.
We had a rule too. You can't change your pitcher no matter what. If he gets tired, he gets tired.
Oh man, they get tired. Yeah, I don't know. They get tired in this game pretty quick.
Yeah, they do.
Of course, if you're a 8-year-old throwing 100-mile-an-hour fastball, I'd probably get pretty tired too.
Exactly.
Yeah, throwing their arms out.
Yeah, there's one guy from I think LA can pitch 108 miles per hour. It's crazy.
In the game or in real life?
Well, if you remember Rookie of the Year,
Yeah. Hey, well, spoilers for one of my Rosenberg trophies.
All right.
Okay.
So,
all right. So one awesome, probably my favorite thing about this game, or one of, is the intro, which also leads me into saying that the graphics in this game are probably the best of any of the baseball games on the NES, I would say.
Sure. The cutscenes were awesome. I really liked
the cutscenes are awesome.
When the call was close, when it was going to be the safe route, and it'd go to a cutscene, and I don't know, these bunnies, I think some of them are a little blind.
Yeah.
There's some problems.
There's some blind bunnies on the field, that's for sure.
Blind bunnies, yeah. Well, I don't think they understand the rules very well.
Especially force outs. Yeah, you're exactly right. Because some of the force outs, they'll catch the ball before the runner gets there, and they'll be like, safe, because he didn't tag him. I'm like, wait a minute. That's not baseball.
Don't you know how the baseball works? Actually, hold on. The manual, I think, addresses that. Hold on.
Oh, gosh. They admitted their mistakes. How noble of Tecmo.
Let's see. Okay, bad news baseball rules. Okay, if one of the teams, if one of the teams gets a lead of 10 runs or more, the game will be called. That's a rule. Mm-hmm. If the game goes into extra innings and neither team wins by the 12th inning, the game is a tie. Okay. Here we go. The rules of this game are designed to make it as close to real baseball as possible, but there are certain points that differ due to the nature of the game. So there they go. They've got a legal something mumbo jumbo in here to call, so their bunnies don't get sued by the players.
Right.
Okay. Now, one of the really cool things about the stats, if you pull up the lineup and it shows you that there's a little list of all the positions, and it shows you where each player is good at that position. So if you move your left fielder from left field to first base and he's a 0 at first base, every time you throw him the ball, he's going to probably bobble it, which is I thought that was kind of interesting. So if you're trying to move someone, from the bench that can hit real well, but you don't want to take out your left fielder and put him at first base, you're gonna have some problems there. And I usually hit those guys at catcher because there's not a lot of plays, behind the plate. But I thought that was kind of interesting that they actually are proficient at certain areas of the field.
Yeah, that is cool. The stats do make a difference in the game, which is nice. I think that is a cool, nice touch. Something else I noticed that's really, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but it's cool. Mr. T's in this game.
Well, actually,
notice that?
That's actually Rex Beat from Tecmo Wrestling.
Oh, okay. Well, he looks like Mr. T.
But he's modeled after Mr. T. Sorry, I didn't mean to go actually on you. Actually.
Oh, okay, yeah. Thanks for that. There's a term for that type of person, you know.
What's that, a Genesis Germ?
Yeah, germ.
Mm.
You guys ever listen to that show, The Comedy Button? That guy's always like, actually.
No, but I've seen like there's a meme or something with some.
Yeah,
guy
there's
doing that.
there's a T-shirt. Like the guy doesn't talk the whole time, but as soon as he has a chance to correct somebody, he comes in with actually.
Yeah, so that's you.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. Something. What about the sound and the music? What do you guys think about the sound and the music? I will say that the music really got on my nerves pretty bad. This is one
Really?
of the, I don't know why. I mean,
Aw.
it's not bad. It really isn't. But for some reason, this game, I had to actually turn the music off and just listen to.
Yeah, I thought it had like a fun little like take me out to the ball game.
It does, but it just for some reason got on my nerves. I don't even know why.
And every team has their own music, which is cool. So whatever team's batting, it's that
Well,
music.
maybe that's the problem.
Yeah,
Maybe
they
that's
had the
the
wrong
problem.
team. And then
I didn't like Boston's theme song then, perhaps.
well, and then what's cool after the song was kind of over, every team kind of has like this little whistle part. It's like dun 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 dun, and then it goes back in their song, which I thought was kind of neat. Every team has that same little break, but again, I've played this game a billion times, so
Yeah, no, you would know more than me. I know the Boston song, the Toronto song, and then the teams that I played against, I guess.
yeah. And when you win the game and there's that cutscene, I mean, you can definitely hear like some Tecmo Bowl influence tunes going on there for sure. But yeah.
I got a comment, but it's not related to the music or sound.
Okay.
I love the fact that when you throw a player out, they get like knocked out.
Yeah, I do like that. That's pretty funny.
They're like dreaming of bases above their head. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
if you're playing outfield and you dive for a ball and actually dive into the fence, it sounds like he hits metal on his head, and the same thing happens. He gets knocked out for about 5 seconds.
Yeah. I do like that.
Again, that goes back to the graphics for me being the best part of this game, or the most redeeming quality.
Right.
And there's some cool attention to detail in the graphics, like whenever the batter is swinging the bat and he's pivoting his back foot, you can actually see the spikes on the back of his shoe, which I thought was kind of cool. I was a big baseball fan, so I noticed all this stupid crap, but there was that. And some of the pitchers pitch sidearm versus overhand, and one thing that always bugged me about these old games, and it's true for this one, depending on what side of the field you catch the ball on, every player is ambidextrous. They can throw right-handed or left-handed. It just doesn't really matter.
That's a good point, actually.
But about every baseball game for the NES was that way. I can't think of any that actually. It wasn't until you got to like King Griffey Jr. Baseball and Super Nintendo that changed.
I'm not sure that I ever actually noticed that. I'm going to have to look at that now. As we talk about this game, it honestly does make me want to play it again. So maybe I just haven't given it a fair shake. I'm not afraid to admit that.
Am I selling it?
Maybe.
I love this
don't
game
know.
so much.
I do feel like I want to play it again all of a sudden. Like when I was playing it, I just was getting tired of it. I don't know why.
Yeah. Between this and King Griffey Jr.'s Baseball and Super Nintendo and Sports Talk Baseball and the Genesis, like I could play all three of those games all day long. Good baseball stuff. It's sad that the Nintendo ones are more than the Genesis. Ugh. I got to reevaluate that.
I don't know.
I don't know.
All right. Well, do you have anybody else have anything else to say about this game? I'm thinking I'm going to give it another shot. Before we go into the is it fun? Is it worth it? So I don't have anything else to say necessarily, other than I think I'm going to give it another shot.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's some cool strategies you can use. A lot of games have a button, but back in the NES, you only had the two buttons, so you can kind of like do a half swing to get your bunt going. And like anybody who could run at a speed of 7 or above, I would just bunt every time because you could pretty much get on base, and then you could steal second, third automatically.
Interesting. Let me write that down.
If you get the guy Jason on Boston, he just steals everything. So I thought that was pretty cool. But there's some. Again, I played it so much, I kind of developed my own strategies. But and I thought it was real easy to make double plays. Like I felt like defense was kind of contrary to what you said. It was moving slow. I felt defense was real smooth once you kind of figure out where the ball is going. And a little bit different than. Oh, this is my last point. I won't keep going. A little bit different than a lot of the other Nintendo games. Depending on the timing of your swing, like if you swing late, the ball is actually going to go to the opposite field versus swinging early, it's going to go. You're going to pull it, whether you're right-hander, you're going to pull it down third base, and vice versa. So there's a little bit of
that. That's cool.
Yeah, and a lot of baseball games were just as long as you make contact. I feel like there's just some algorithm that's like, all right, based on the stats, it's going to go here. But I felt like there's a little bit of skill involved in that. But other than that, I could talk about a billion things, but for the sake of the show, move on.
You can talk about as many things as you want as long as it continues to be NES stuff. That's all I gotta say.
Well, if you do other baseball games, I'll probably be on the same page. Or Lee Trevino's Fighting Golf. I played a lot of that.
Okay, all right, we'll keep that in mind. All right, Justin. So, how much does this game go for? I know we said it was cheap earlier.
Yeah, it's about $10, shipping and everything. Get it.
Yeah. Okay. So, what do you guys think? Is it worth it for that? Around $10? I think we know what Nick's gonna say.
It's essential. it's a gem. Can I say that here?
Okay. All right. Where's the hang up button?
Sorry, Tom Arnold would approve. There you go.
Yeah, there we go.
There we go. Now we're.
What do you think, Justin? Do you think it's worth it?
I'm going for it. Yeah, it's worth it.
All right. You know what? I think I am going to say it's worth it. I mean, because it's really not that expensive. This is one of the. I mean, really, honestly, all the baseball games on the NES are actually pretty good. Now, if you think about it, which is kind of unusual that all of the same genre of something on the NES is good. But this one, it's right up there with all the other ones. I just have a little bit more preference to the games that have a little more depth to them, and that's just more of my preference, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But this game generally plays just as well. It's a little more difficult for me for whatever reason. And it may just be that I didn't play enough games. I only played like 3 or 4 rounds with it. So, so there you go.
I kind of see sports games as like wrestling games. Like I bought a wrestling game a few months ago, and I could not win a match for the first 3 days, and now I don't even get hit. So it's like repetition. I feel the same way about any sport game I pick up. Like I always suck when I first play it, and the more I play it, I'm like, oh, okay, I get it.
Yeah, that makes sense. Although the game that I just sold you, I was terrible at that game. The Slam Masters, I never could figure that one out.
Love that game. Yeah, I played that a lot too as a kid. So it's one of those ones I didn't own. I went and rented it every weekend.
Nice. So retrofitted trophies. Did you guys come up with any?
I did.
Okay, go ahead then.
All right, I'll start us off. My first trophy is called the Bobby Lowe Trophy, and that is get 3 home runs in one game. And it's the Bobby Lowe Trophy because Bobby Lowe is the first player in Major League history to do it. 3 home runs in a game. In 1894. Cool.
It's kind of like a hat trick then, right?
Yeah. So 3 home runs. Same player. Sorry, I guess I should have said that. Same player.
All right, that's cool. I like it. Nick, do you have any trophies?
Yeah, my first one's called Ryu Hayabusa Would Be Impressed, and that's beating the one-player mode, which you go through and beat all the teams. And at the end of the cutscene, Ryu Hayabusa from Ninja Gaiden's actually at the end of the lineup, which is pretty cool. So.
Oh, like where Mr. T is normally?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. All right, cool. My first one is Walter Matthau Would Be Impressed. And that is the same thing as Nick's. It's beat the one-player mode, which is beat all the teams, I guess.
I'll go ahead and say this one, since in the theme of your 2 previous trophies, and this one's going to be better for obvious reasons. Tom Arnold would be impressed, and that is beat the game.
That's fair.
You just got to live to impress Tom Arnold.
That's all we do on this show. If you ever like came on this show or did a promo for the show or something, I guess we'd just have to quit because that's ever since the Double Dragon episode. That's all we've existed to do is try to impress Tom Arnold.
That's right.
It's the goal.
That's right.
All right. You got another one, Nick?
Yeah, this one's called Mr. Baseball, and at the end of the game, you see a few characters that look like Tom Selleck. So it's checking out Tom Selleck at the end of the game, Mr. Baseball. Did you guys ever watch that movie?
Yeah.
I want to say that
I
I
like
did,
to
but
check out Tom Selleck.
Yeah.
Did I say that out loud?
I did. Check out Tom Selleck. Hey, you can't, after seeing Tom Selleck, it's, whatever. I won't go into that.
once you go Tom Selleck, you never go back.
That's right. Tom
right.
Selleck will be impressed. It's gonna be the new Genesis one. Yeah, Mr. Baseball was good. He was a washed-up American professional baseball player that ended up playing in the Japanese league. It was pretty good.
I've not seen that one.
That's good.
Unfortunately. All right, my next one is called Way to Go, Run-a-Mucker. And that is throw a pitch of at least 105 miles per hour.
Oh, okay. All right.
Run-a-Mucker was the kid from Rookie of the Year.
Yes, Rosenberger. He had all kinds of last names because of
Yeah.
Charlie Stern. What was that his
Right.
name? Some
Well, the guy with all the backer spit in his mouth.
yeah. Which
Whatever his name
that
is.
Daniel Stern. He actually
Daniel Stern. Yeah.
when the Cubs made it to the series this year, he dressed up as that character and gave him a pep talk.
Yeah.
Just
Oh,
pretty
yeah?
cool.
Oh,
Yep,
that's
yep.
cool.
Yeah.
All
But
right, you got
yeah,
any more, Justin?
yeah, I got a couple more.
Okay. All right.
This next one is the Addy Joss Trophy, and that is pitch a perfect game,
Ooh.
which is probably impossible. But the Addy Joss Trophy, because Addy Joss was the first person that was coined the term a perfect game. He was not the first one to pitch a perfect game, but the first time that phrase was coined was in 1908 after his pitching performance.
Okay. Cool. You got any more, Nick?
Yeah, this is kind of what I do at the Genesis Gyms. This one's called a Hector, a hardly know her. That's hitting a home run with Hector.
By the way, do you watch what's the name of that show? Last Man on Earth?
Uh-uh.
Okay, he makes like that joke all the time. Like, it's hilarious. Think with like the main character, he always makes corny jokes and it's hilarious. And he's always making a joke like that. No.
Yeah. Speaking of jokes, did you hear the joke about the baseball? It'll leave you in
No.
stitches.
Oh, nice. You been holding that all show?
And I wrote it down. I just forgot to say it.
All right, I've got one called "I Pity the Fool," and that is hit a home run because Mr. T's waiting for you at the end of the line. Although apparently it's not Mr. T, so that just ruins my entire trophy.
It's Rex Beat.
Yeah.
So when we all cover Tecmo Pro Wrestling, whatever it's called, you'll know. I kind of liked how they threw all those Tecmo guys in here. I was
Yeah,
kinda
that's
waiting-
cool. I think
I was waiting for Bo Jackson from Tecmo football, but it didn't happen.
And is the bunny? That's a part of Tecmo too, right? That's like part of their logo or something, maybe.
Yeah. When you start up Tecmo football, you kind of see him leaning against the Tecmo sign. Yep.
Yeah.
Kinda makes it-
So the bunny umpires is kind of part of Tecmo too.
Yeah, but they're not. I don't believe he's pink in those though. I think he's like, I don't know. I have to go back and look.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Well, that segues into my next trophy, and that is the bunny is not impressed. And that is clearly throw a player out, and he calls him safe.
Which happens.
Yeah. Like in real life, you know.
Mm.
All right, you got any more, Nick?
No, I forgot about that and came up with them before the show started.
Nice. That's cool. I usually come up with them as the show's going on. So
That's what Aaron does on Genesis Gyms. He usually comes up with real good ones, but
I don't have any more either. That's the end
All
of the line
right.
for me.
How are we going to rate this game then?
It's a good question. Some in some way unrelated to this game whatsoever.
How about a Billy Bob Thornton movie?
ooh,
Okay. All right. Because he was in the remake for Bad News Bears?
Exactly. He was in the
Ooh,
remake for Bad News Bears, which this game's name is a playoff of.
Okay.
oh
All right.
man,
Works for me. I may have to pull up some Billy Bob movies though, because I don't really know what all.
I know like 3, so I'm just going to have to pick one of those.
I'm gonna have to pick one of those.
No,
You just tell me
I'm
which
gonna-
3. I'll pick one.
Well, one of them is a sequel to another one.
Bad Santa.
Yeah. So you can,
and then Bad Santa too.
yeah. So you can say this game's like Bad Santa or Bad Santa too, whichever one you think fits it more.
I want to say this game is like Armageddon, because that strikes me as a movie that Nick would like, and this is a game that only Nick could like. So,
Ooh.
I'm just kidding. No, that's not why it's Armageddon. It's Armageddon because I feel like I didn't give Armageddon a fair shake either. I may have to go back and watch it.
All right, I'm gonna go with Sling Blade.
That's probably my favorite Billy Bob Thornton movie.
Well, the reason, my reasoning is Sling Blade, probably not the best movie you've ever seen in your life, but if you come across it, you're gonna watch it.
I think it's a good movie. What are you talking about?
I didn't say it was a bad movie. I said it wasn't the best movie you've ever seen.
Well, I think it may be the best movie I've ever seen.
Is it the best movie?
Billy Bob Thornton.
Have I ever told my story about the Billy Bob Thornton haircut I got?
French fried taters. Mm-hmm.
No, you haven't told me that story, Justin.
I went to so I went to this. I was looking for a cheap haircut, right? So
and
I
you
found
walked in and said, "Give me the Billy Bob."
Oh, microphone fell.
There it is.
There you go, 2-star.
There you go, 2-star.
So I was looking for a cheap haircut. Found out that the Tennessee School of Beauty gives really cheap haircuts.
Oh wait, I do remember you telling this story. I think I don't know if you told it on air or not, but go ahead.
So I go get the haircut, right? It's like $8, right? So it's pretty much the cheapest haircut you can get. And well, they don't show me the back of my head or anything, like, and I'm like, okay, it's fine, whatever. I don't really care, it's a haircut. It looks fine on the front, right? So I come home and Felicia, we just had our first child, Leah, and I think they were both napping. I was like, okay, I'm gonna lay down and take a nap too. So I wake up like an hour and a half, 2 hours later. Then I come walking downstairs and they're both awake, and Felicia's like, what in the world is wrong with your head? And basically, like the hairline in Sling Blade, where his hairline's like way up here.
Yeah.
They had the girl had cut my hairline way up here. And It was awful. So, and it looked like Sling Blade. So I always, yeah.
That's funny. 2 things. One, I don't do that anymore, where I just say, it's just a haircut, it's not a big deal. I actually try to find the... I used to be like you, okay? I used to be like you, where I just find the cheapest haircut and do whatever.
This was 5 years. So,
Okay. But once you're trying to be a professional in the world and whatnot, you kind of actually have to make sure your hair looks at least somewhat decent.
Yeah.
Especially when you can't wear a hat all the time.
Right.
But so that's the first thing. And then I don't even remember what my second point was, because that first one is just so important.
Point number 2, remember point number 1.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Point number 2, remember point number 1.
All right.
Okay, so
I'm gonna go.
He's not rated the game yet.
I gotta rate it. Yeah.
I was about to say, okay, so Nick, what's your rating of the game?
Gosh, it's a gym. No.
See, that's why I wanted to skip him.
No,
See,
I'm gonna go with Friday Night Lights, and because I believe Friday Night Lights was overshadowed by another show that wasn't a movie called Friday Night Lights, kind of like this game was overshadowed by other Tecmo games.
Okay, that's pretty good rating actually, and the show was way better than the movie.
Yeah. Did you know Connie Britton was in the movie too?
She was in the movie too?
Yeah.
I don't even remember seeing her.
And the little boy from Sling Blade was also the star quarterback on the team.
I do remember him. And Billy Ray Cyrus, maybe?
Tim McGraw.
That's right.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Dwight Yoakam was in Sling Blade. It's just funny how all that.
Potato. Billy Ray Cyrus, Jim McGraw.
I love that movie. I love Friday Night Lights.
The movie was okay, but then once I saw the TV show, I was like, wow, the TV show's way better.
Yeah. It kind of had the same storyline too, that the main character or the main football star gets hurt and blah blah blah.
Well, that's kind of the high school football movie trope, right? Your star player gets hurt and then somebody else has to come in, and then that's just the way it plays
Underdogs, yeah.
All right. What else we got?
We got feedback.
Oops. I knew I should
okay.
get something.
I'll start with some. We got some feedback on the Tweetor.
Oh, Tweetosphere.
Yeah, we got Hops and Heroes, which is a podcast, I think. I haven't listened to it yet, but I've heard things that it's good. Rumblings. They say one of the best baseball games on the NES, tied with Little League and Baseball Stars. # Bunny Umpires Best Umpires. Well, I would argue that while cute, they're not very good umpires, as
True.
we've discussed on this podcast. They also say Toronto and Boston are the best teams. I agree with you on Boston, but I was very bad at playing as Toronto, so I don't know if I agree with that on Toronto. But I don't know. Maybe it's just because I'm terrible at this game, which is true. And then Tadpog comes in with boys mode and girls mode? ? Yes. Oh.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, I mean, it was a question. Oh, wait, no, never mind. They also put a GIF, which is some guy's head exploding. Like he's just, wow, boys and girls, wow.
Mind blown. Yeah.
Mind blown. All right, you got the Facebook feedback pulled up now, Justin?
I got it. Okay. Eric Purcell says, is Aaron Hickman a guest host? And Aaron Hickman replied, nah, I'm more of a fan of the best baseball game on the system, Baseball Stars. Failing that, softball heaven. All right.
I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
Nick, can you translate?
We'll put it on the next Ask Aaron segment. You'll have to go over to GenesisGemspodcast.com and check that out.
Okay.
Okay,
All
yeah, I'm not gonna do that.
Fair enough. Joshua Allen Neely says, I remember the cover of this one, but never got to play it. Peter Guzman said, never heard of this time to YouTube. Ryan Jackson says, never heard of this game. Does the cover do it justice? I'm guessing not. Trevor Franklin said, Retro Bliss covered this a few weeks ago. Terrible podcast with a co-host who shamelessly plugs it whenever he can. Okay.
I see what you did there.
Yeah. We had a blast with it. One of the best NES baseball games I've played. Really curious what the dudes think of it. Chris Vanderhoff says, if Nick or Aaron are on, I'm going to puke.
I'm glad that we have that effect on people.
Well, you know.
Okay. Stephen Michael
I had your
says,
back, though, by the way. I don't know
I
if Justin's probably not
appreciate
going to
that.
read that feedback, but I did have your back.
Do you want me to read it?
Sure, yeah, go ahead.
Michael says, better take some promethazine. Stephen Michael says, ha ha ha. Aaron Hickman says, better put that Star Tropics episode on repeat then.
Ooh.
And Chris Vanderhoff says, Michael Kelso, you're fired.
Well, all right. I'll pack my bags.
Stephen Michael said, this is a fun baseball game, although it's not the best on the NES. If only the bunter umpires were bugs. Ivan Kaproth Joslin. I love saying his name. I got to be honest. I love it. Boys mode, girls mode, with Nintendo's occasionally questionable treatment of gender norms and stereotypes. I'm afraid to ask. It would be sweet to hear Kelso and Stevens on the same podcast again. All right.
Who said that?
Gail Wilson. Sorry, did I not say that?
You didn't, but thank you, Gail. We as mentioned earlier in the episode that Justin actually didn't hear, we are coming back, I think. That's the plan, anyways, for Metrovania Mayhem.
All right.
All right. You sound so enthused about that. Thank you for that, for voicing that approval there.
Right, exactly. I'm looking forward to it. There we go. How about that?
Good comeback.
Would you like for me to scream yeah again like I did for your engineering talk at the local high school?
No, it's okay.
All right. Yeah, I was excited. I like, teaching today's youth. Derek Fletchell never owned it and still don't somehow, but played a ton of this at a buddy's house growing up. He had 4 brothers, and between those 5 and my brother and I, we had many games, tournaments, etc. with this one throughout the years. The best baseball game on the system, in my opinion, and it's still fun to play. Don't recall how playing against a computer is, but you can't beat the 2-player mode. Lots of fun, great memories with this one. Nick Stephens says, sound like a killer show. Okay. Self-promotion there. Peter Martin says, have this game. This is one of my favorite baseball games of all time on the system. I remember the big deal with this game was the Cinema FX, when there are going to be close plays, as well as the bunny rabbit umpires, which I thought was pretty cool. I also like the fact that you could build rosters and move the players around and make your own unique roster. I love that. Again, probably my favorite baseball game, even though there are some other really good ones like RBI Baseball, etc. Thanks for covering this game. I still have notepads that have the rosters that I made back when I first bought this game when it came out. So it was pretty cool to look back at them and see what kind of team that I built compared to what I build now. I can't wait to hear this episode, dudes. Dude in waiting. Hashtag dude in waiting. Sorry.
Who is that?
Peter Martins.
Oh, is he not a dude already?
Am I a dude
Look
yet?
the list.
That never happened, did it? It's probably never going to happen.
No, that never happened. And it's not going to happen if you keep bad mouthing us, is it?
Yeah. you guys are the worst.
Yeah. Why are you the way that you are?
Every time.
Oh,
Every
man.
time we try to make you a dude, you go and do something that makes you not a dude.
I hate so much the things you choose to be. One of the best parts of that show ever.
Oh, it's so good.
Okay,
right.
You know what? Now, before we move on, Nick, you're a dude now, and Peter, you're a dude also. So
Yes.
we're good. I'm right. I'm typing it in as we speak.
All right.
This
Peter
is my-
Martins, congratulations in that unceremonious
Yeah.
dude shipping.
Yeah. I'm sorry to now dude Martin that you had to be thrust into dudeship alongside Nick here. Otherwise, you probably would have got some better fanfare. But
Misery loves company.
All right. Greg Polander says, never played it. Don't know why. I really like the Tecmo sports games on the NES. Good mix of arcade action and strategy. I need to check this one out depending on your episode. Uh-oh.
that's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
Yeah, Greg should go cover a baseball game called Extra Innings, and I would love for someone to research this. But there's a game called Extra Innings for Super Nintendo. It plays exactly like Bad News Baseball. The guys look the same, they move the same. When they get out, they fall down just like this. But none of the credits or the developers show any similarities. It was published by Sony, I believe. And I can't figure it out. Like I researched that for a long time, and I could never make the correlation. But it plays exactly the same, so it's got to be the same team. I don't know.
It's either the same team or somebody just ripped them off.
Exactly, but it feels the same, and I don't know. So hopefully Greg listens to this. Maybe he can answer that. Let me know.
Yeah, we
Cool.
talked about we just did a game like that recently.
Oh, it was not Rolling Thunder. The one Rolling Thunder's the one it copied. But yeah, I know what you're talking about.
But
did
we
just talk
also
about it.
didn't we just talk about
Capcom
a
game, right?
Yeah, that's right. And I can't remember what. Crap.
I listened to that show, and I was thinking the same thing. What was that game?
All right.
But-
This is
And we
good.
also did another one that was the Bugs Bunny game was also said to be a copy of Super Mario Bros. 2. Or, they copied a lot of things about it.
Did we mention that on that show?
I'm mentioning it now.
Okay.
I meant to mention it.
Sounds good.
Addendum.
All right. We don't have anything. Was that all the Facebook feedback, by the way?
Yeah.
We don't have anything on Google Plus this time. We don't have any emails. We don't have any.
Where's Ryan?
He gave us a +1, but that's all he did. He didn't make any comments. So, but thank you, Dude Ballard, for the +1. We need comments from here on out. Right.
Let's get this together
here. We do have several voicemails this episode, though. I know we're kind of going a little long, but Justin's not passed out yet. Nick may be because he doesn't have video feeds. I don't know. He maybe has some. But let's see if we can. I will save Ryan Jackson. We're going to save you for next time because yours is pretty long. But we're going to do everybody else's here. Sorry, Ryan, but we'll get you. But you'll just have to be next time. Just because it says that you have, it's like 6 minutes worth of phone call here. All right, here we go.
Hey, dudes, this is Jamie Ziegler again. Just listened to the podcast on Urban Champions. Let me say, that game was horrible. One of the most competitive games I can remember playing when I was a kid. Again, I love the show and can't wait till you cover a really good game that I loved as a kid, and that was Gunsmoke. So keep up the good work.
Thank you, Jamie. Again, I love your accent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he sounds like there's a lot of folks here in West Virginia that have that same type of accent. I wonder where he's from. Like, it sounds like a relative of mine.
I don't know. It kind of sounds to me like a North Carolina accent a little bit. Because he kind of sounds like Landon, too, right?
A little bit, yeah, that's true.
So, I don't know. I don't know where he's from. Jamie, call back. Let us know. Oh, he did call back. Hold on. Here's another call. Maybe he's calling to let us know.
Yeah, reading our minds.
I forgot to mention where I'm from.
Hey, two dudes. This is Jamie Ziegler. Just got the news about Pigeon Forge and Gallenberg being on fire. You don't have to play this on the air, but it's the only way I can get a hold of y'all. I know on the podcast you said that you visit there quite often. I just hope that you and Justin is doing okay and it's not affecting you or the great podcast that you produce. Like I said, I hope that it ain't affected y'all in no way. It's sad, but I just wanted to, call and say how sorry I am. And like I said, hopefully it's not affected y'all in any way, shape, or form. So keep up the good work, and thank you so much.
Oh, well, Jamie, you said not to play it. Sorry I didn't screen it ahead of time, but it does make you sound like a good dude. So
yeah,
thank you for your concern. There has been a lot of devastation around here, but fortunately Jess and I live far enough away that it's not directly affected us. Although we do like to vacation there a lot, so
yeah, actually,
a little disappointing.
I've traveled down there many times. Love that area. I'm real sad to hear that.
Yeah. I think today, it's after midnight now, so today's the 7th. They're reopening it Friday. Gallenberg is technically closed right now to the public, which is insane to think about.
Yeah,
I can't think
But
of that.
a city
That's never
is
happened.
just closed to the public. But it's supposed to be back open in 2 days, so hopefully they get a lot of tourism. And
yeah, I know it's sad that a lot of people canceled their trips and stuff after hearing about it, because, I mean, that's basically the livelihood of Gallenberg is tourism. So if people cancel just because of this, then it's going to hurt them even worse than the fires, probably.
yeah,
I mean, they'll recover from the fires, but I don't know. It'd be hard to recover from months worth of non-tourism.
Right.
Well, I know we're planning on making another trip, just even if we weren't already. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anyways, enough depressing stuff. How about a call from Stephen Michael?
Hey, two dudes. This is Stephen Michael from Facebook. Just wanted to call and talk about the Bad News Bears, the 1976 one, not the 2005 one. I thought it was a hilarious movie growing up. Oh, no, you're doing Bad News Baseball for the NES. Yeah, that's a pretty good one. Not the best on the system. However, it's got some redeeming quality, gameplay. Yeah, really like the bunny umpires, and really just like the movie better. So, all right, guys. Have a good one. Merry Christmas.
Thanks, David. He really just likes the movie better.
Yeah.
I like it. That's the guy that's always trolling on the Genesis Facebook page.
Yeah,
I love that guy. I love it. It's fun.
somehow, I guess because every time he calls the show, he says it's Steve Michael from Facebook. Somehow we've gotten this joke that he actually works for Facebook.
Yeah.
I mean, he may actually work for Facebook.
like-
I don't know, but. All right, got one more. This one's from Ivan.
Yeah. Okay.
Here we go.
Hey, this is Dude Ivan calling with some unconnected thoughts. First, I'm looking forward to hearing the episode on Bad News Baseball, I think it is. Used to enjoy the baseball games for the Nets a lot, and I hadn't heard of this one, so I'm looking forward to hearing your thoughts on it. Second, I've got to call you out, Michael, for your use of the G word on the Facebook page. You see, when I attend services at the Two Dudes sect of the Church of Nets, it's not to hear one of the chief priests saying blasphemy. So let's not have that anymore. And third, got some belated Thanksgivings. First, my wife recently, after more years than I care to count, has become a cardiothoracic radiologist. So I'm thankful for the work that she's done to make that happen, and thankful those years on pretty nasty schedule are over. Also thankful for resuming my career as a music librarian, having been recently rehired at Sibley Music Library in the cataloging wing. So, looking forward to the episode, dudes. Talk to you later. Bye.
All right, thanks for the call, Ivan. To dissect your call a little bit, one, I'm sorry I said the G word. Okay, I'm not sure what I was thinking. And so then two, congratulations to your wife. Justin may know more about this. Did he say cardiothoracic radiologist? That sounds really technical.
Yeah. Well, I'm curious.
You're speechless.
I'm curious if she's like a cardiothoracic radiologist, assuming that he's meaning she's a radiologist that's probably fellowship trained in cardiothoracic imaging, so which is a pretty growing field. Actually, a field that I'm really interested in. Ivan, contact me. Facebook. Yeah. Curious about it.
Right.
You don't have to. You don't want to, Ivan. Don't bother. But yeah. I'm interested.
Okay. I was trying to be as quiet. I was trying to be as quiet as possible. See how awkward it could possibly get if Nick and I stayed silent and you just have to keep talking.
Keep talking to Ivan. This personal message to Ivan. I mean, you don't have to call. You don't have to contact me. This is not weird. I'm not trying to make it weird.
It's starting to get weird. All right. Okay, and then three. Congratulations to you, Ivan, on being back in the biz, the music biz. We actually have a friend that is a music librarian? Is that what? I guess that's what it's called, right? Ed went into that.
Where's he at?
I think he's in Colorado.
Yeah, I think it's.
But that's what he went. That's what he went into also.
Mm-hmm.
Cataloging music, I guess. That's interesting.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right, that's all the calls I got. Thank you
right.
for staying awake.
I'm working on it.
Okay, Nick, you want to shout out your show anymore?
You sure you want me to? It's Genesis Gems, game by game Sega Genesis podcast. Check us out at genesisgemspodcast.com. Appreciate all you cross listeners. I know we have a few, unfortunate souls who like both of these shows, but no, it's all fun. I actually enjoy the bickering back and forth. I'm not sure if anyone's serious about it or not, but they are. That's funny too.
That would be funny. I really don't think anybody's serious. I think we all know that we're just messing around.
It was a dude Sean that destroyed the Streets of Rage.
Oh yeah, I did want to mention that.
That was just awful.
Funny.
There was somebody that did actually, I think, get offended by that, and I apologize for that. But we were just trying to poke some fun. The cartridge was in really bad shape to begin with before Sean even got it. On a side note, but yeah, I did send Sean a Streets of Rage cartridge that I had, and he put a pretty awesome video together of him chainsawing it and burning it and things. So if you want to see that, you actually have to go to the Genesis Gems group. So maybe don't do that.
We've been getting a lot of new member requests lately. Maybe that's why.
It's because they want to see that video.
Exactly.
That's the only place. That's the only place Sean posted it.
My little sissy, I burnt one of y'all's business cards on a scented candle I had going.
Yeah,
Scented candle.
I like my house smell like sugar cookies. Sue me.
that's fine. That's fine. Nobody's going to judge you here. Well, not while you're here.
Right,
Maybe after you're gone.
Afterwards.
Yeah, you go back and edit it.
Yeah. It's just gonna. That's all it's gonna say the whole episode. Every time it's like, Nick, do you have something to say? What? I like my house to smell like sugar cookies. What do you think about Bad News Baseball? I like my house to smell like sugar cookies.
That'd be gold. That'd be your best episode.
Yeah.
All right. I do want to say shout out to the rest of the Retro Junkies as well. There's more podcasts on there than I can keep up with, which is pretty awesome. But we do have a website, retrojunkies.com. You can go there. I think Nick keeps it up to date fairly well.
Yeah, sometimes. I'm having a little trouble with it right now. So when you click the podcast link, some of the photos aren't showing up. I need to fix that. My bad.
But the links to the podcast
Yes.
feeds and stuff are still all good. So.
Yes.
And then shout out to the Wee Dude. Thanks for putting all that awesome music on YouTube that we proceed to yank down off of YouTube and put into our podcast. And then thank you to the Fox Dude for the logo, which is still super sweet.
Yeah.
And Justin, tell them where they can find us.
2dudesinanest.com, nesdudes.com, and then 10dudes.com. And you can find us on any social media network like Facebook, Twitter, and join Ryan on Google+.
He needs a friend.
He does. He really does. And you can always call us. And that number is
775-773-8761 or 775-7retro1 or the fancy schmancy website where you can click the little phone icon and then click call, and it actually works. Many have tested it, and it works wonders. So, do it.
all right.
All right, Nick, thanks for coming on. We tried not to berate you too bad. I think we were actually pretty civil.
No, you were. Thanks for having me on. That was fun.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah. Good show.
Until next time.
Bye, everybody.
See ya.